Good morning, students. So, today I'll be talking about the central workshop of NIT Agartala. And first of all, let me welcome you all to the National Institute of Technology Agartala. Though you are not present here, but virtually you are very much along with us, and hope that we'll be meeting very soon. So, now let us start to have a virtual tour of the central workshop of NIT Agartala. As you know, that central workshop is an integral part of the whole curriculum that is being taught, whether this is being followed in civil, mechanical, electrical, computer science, anywhere. Every time any one of the student have to come to the central workshop, either for their first year classes or for the master degree project or for the PhD thesis, whatever you say. So students have to come and work here as per their own requirement. So our central workshop is basically intended for the well-being of all the students, for the technological well-being of all the students throughout the whole year. And to remind you that the central workshop remains open till midnight, and sometimes it extends after that also, depending upon the various activities that are being held by the students. These activities include not only the curriculum but beyond the curriculum, like whenever there is certain program, technological program or some competition or something else. So students are actively participating and are working in the central workshop to make their models, either that be a prototype or that be an actual model of a car or some other assembly. So they are working day and night. So our central workshop remains vigil at all the times throughout the whole year. So now let us have a virtual tour of the central workshop. So as you can see in the slide given, that this is the entrance to the central workshop, and this comprises of different shops. If we are talking about the building, the premises as a whole, it comprises of a certain part being taken by the civil department, certain part for the mechanical department, and the remaining part that belongs to the central workshop. So this is the entrance of the central workshop. So So this is the mission and vision of the central workshop. Everywhere if you go in any department or the institute, we have got certain vision, and to build up that vision we require certain mission. So what is the mission and vision of the central workshop? It states that the mission of the central workshop is to take into our fold young talents and mold them into well qualified technicians, technologists and engineers by fostering innovation, leadership, professional ethics, and entrepreneurial spirit through high standards of practical training. That is the most important part in the central workshop. What we impart is the practical hands-on experience to all the students. And the vision of the central workshop is to achieve excellence through quality training and strive in nation building with a special focus to serve the industries at a potential knowledge hub for dissemination of technological and scientific advancements. So you can see the list of the staffs working in the central workshop being headed by myself, Dr. Barnik Sharai, and I am actually belonging to the mechanical engineering department, and I am working as an assistant professor grade 1 there. Initially, the central workshop was a integral part of the mechanical engineering department since the inception of the college in the year 1965, but only in the year 2019, this workshop, which was under mechanical engineering department, was being converted into the central workshop so that it can cater to the requirement of all the students, because it has been seen that in the recent years the dependability of the students and the requirement and their requirements also in the central workshop has flourished to a very high extent. That's why it was very much required to make this workshop as an integral part of the whole system. So it has been converted into a central workshop from the mechanical engineering department. And these are the name and designation of the staffs. There are total 8 staffs working in the central workshop with 3 foremen, that is Sri Devashish Bishwas, Kaushik Debra and Manojit Das, with an instructor Ranju Kumar Singh and Aruptaru Roy, and we are having one junior technician, Mr. Shubhendu Debbarma, and Mr. Pinku Shaha as a lab assistant, and Mr. Sujit Kumar Bhomik is working as a skilled assistant. So we are having in total 8 number of staffs who are working day and night to fulfill the requirement of the students. So these are the list of the shops which are included in the central workshop. These are foundry shop, smithy shop, welding shop, sheet metal shop, carpentry and pattern shop, machine shop and fitting shop. So when we talk about the shops and their orientation, basically one thing we have to keep in mind that when with the advancement of the technology, initially if you start with the use of the hand tool, first of all the requirement of the hand tool and their use, to know the requirement and their use is a first thing that has to be carried out in the central workshop. So initially, first of all, we are trying to make the student understand that what are the various types of joining techniques, what are the various types of fabrication technique, what are the various types of machining techniques, and based upon these different approaches, we are classifying the shops. So you can see, okay, this is the layout of the central workshop. As you can see, it is having different labs. The left portion is being taken care of by the civil department, and the top left portion by the electrical engineering department, and the other portions being taken care of totally under the custodian of central workshop, including the smithy shop, IC engine lab, sheet metal shop, carpentry shop, welding shop, then fitting shop, machine shop. Then we are also having the fluid mechanics and machinery lab and the chemical engineering lab, and some portions of this are being taken by the production engineering department. So this is the foundry and the smithy shop, and the main purpose of this foundry and smithy shop is to make the students accustomed with the various types of joining process. So initial joining, if you talk about, that is about initial joining of the metals, that is carried out basically by the casting process, which is actually an additive process. We are not taking out any material from that, and in order to prepare the casted products, we require something like we require to make the patterns, we require to make the molds, and these things are being taught in the foundry and smithy shop. The smithy shop also deals with the forging processes, where we are joining the materials not in the molten condition but in the solid condition with the application of pressure. So this is our foundry and smithy shop, and you can see the different furnaces which are used to heat the metals and to change the temperature, to bring the temperature to a very high degree, so that some phase changes in the metals take place. This is the extended view of the smithy shop. You can see the furnaces followed by the anvils. In the furnaces, we generally heat the material, and then we heat the material in the red hot condition, so as to change the nature of the material and then to make some of the desired shapes. This is also the extended view of the smithy shop, where we are undergoing the theory classes. So initially, before the commencement of the classes, we make the students understand that what is the basics, what is the underlying physics, or what is the underlying concept behind the process that we are doing, and then only after that concept is clear, we generally proceed for the hands-on experience and hands-on training to the students. So this is the extended portion of the smithy shop. Here we can perform different operations like cutting, then heating in the anvil to make the desired shapes. You can see this is basically a portion of a rod which is in the red hot condition, and you have to heat in the red hot condition so as to change the temper of the material. Otherwise you cannot heat in the normal condition. So this is the anvil where we press the material and then we heat it so as to forge it. Then comes the welding, carpentry, pattern and sheet metal shops. All these shops are taken together. You know that welding is also one type of joining process, a positive joining process. And we also teach the students how to make the molds, because they are all interrelated to each other. When we talk about the pattern shop, when you talk about the casting shop, they are related, because if you want to do some casting, you require to make the mold, and in order to make the mold you require to make a pattern. So if you want to make a pattern, you have to do it either with the help of you have to make, initially you have to make the pattern with the wood, and therefore we require an expertise in the carpentry and pattern shop. So that is what is about the welding, carpentry, pattern and sheet metal shop. This is the extended view of the shop taken in totality. We have different basic welding equipments, and it has been extended up to some advanced welding equipments. So we can join different materials ranging from similar materials to that of dissimilar materials to that of polymers and other things also with some reinforcement. So welding shop, sheet metal shop, carpentry shop, they are all related to each other. And in the sheet metal shops also, you can see this is the sheet metal shop where we generally make some of the shapes with the aluminium sheets, or any you can take for example some other metallic sheets also. So we make different types of shapes with the metallic sheets, as you have seen in the day-to-day life also, that we can make different types of containers, we can make different types of boxes which are actually being used in our life day-to-day activities. So these are being taken care of in the sheet metal shop. So you can see these are some of the jobs that are being done by the students, making from funnel to that of containers to that of a hopper, and extending up to some boxes, solid boxes. So everything can be done in the sheet metal shop. So these two are the stuffs which are involved in the welding and the sheet metal shop, Mr. Manojit Das and Mr. Arup Kumar Roy. And these are some of the advanced welding equipments like plasma arc welding, tungsten inert gas welding, and metal inert gas welding equipments which are used to weld steel plates also of varying thickness, ranging from very low thickness to that of very high thickness. So you can join anything. This is a typical application of the welding process. You can see that normally you have to cover the mouse with some shield, otherwise the infrared ray will come and it will affect the eyes. So that is very dangerous. So in that case you have to use some protective devices while we are doing the welding. So this is just a demonstration of that. Though the picture is somewhat dark, it appears, but these are some of the jobs which are done in the carpentry shop, making different types of joints, wooden joints, dovetail joint, C-type joint, then we are having L joint. There are various types of joint which are being made, and if you are undergoing the classes of engineering mechanics, then also you will find that there is a chapter where we require to find out the center of gravity for different solid objects, and you can make actually the three-dimensional object of those things like pyramid, cone, truncated cone, and all these things can be made here only. So you can see that these things are there, and you will also get a chance to make these things in the lab. And the last one is the fitting and machine shop, where we give hands-on training to the students so that they can machine different parts, they can make their own parts as required. That part may be a metallic part, that part may be a polymeric part, that part may be anything normally. If you are doing some activities on the pipe, you require to make some threads on the pipe. That thread may be internal thread, that thread may be external thread. So every type of training these are being given here, how to make those threads basically in the fitting shop. So this is the view of the machine shop, and you can see there are so many machines lying. ranging from light duty machines to that of heavy duty machines. Like duty machine means which are lower in weight, lighter in weight, sorry, which are lighter in weight, and some small types of operation can be performed there. For example, the machines on the left side, as you can see, these are known as the lathes, and lathes are such type of machines. Generally we do not say lathe machine, we say lathe, because lathe itself means a machine where you can do various types of machining operations. And on the front you can see that this is this particular rack is demonstrating different types of jobs which are made by the students normally in the class. That can be some classwork activities also, and outside the classwork also. So yeah, this is an example of the fitting work that you require to do. Suppose you are given a particular material, you require to cut it into different pieces, you require to make the surface smooth, sometimes you may require to make the surfaces rough for better gripping. So all these types of operations, these are being performed in the fitting shop. And as you can see in the picture, this is Mr. Ranju Kumar, who is instructor in the fitting shop. This is Mr. Bishwajit Devnath, who is also an instructor in the fitting shop. So this is an example of the power saw where you can cut the metal pieces automatically with the help of power saw. Otherwise you can cut with the help of hand saw also. So this is an example of a pillar drilling machine. If you require to make some internal holes, or if you require to make some external holes on some machine components, so that can be done in this pillar drilling machine. And obviously the diameter of the hole should not vary so much. This is a light duty drilling machine, so you can make small diameters up to medium, ranging up to medium diameter holes. And these are the lathes, as you have said earlier, that so many operations can be done on lathe. So this is a medium duty lathe. This is a shaper machine. If you want to remove certain material from any piece, or if you require to remove the material at a certain angle, then it has to be done in the shaper machine. So that is the perfect example of a shaper machine. These are the bench vices where you need to hold the material and do whatever machining operations that you where you require to do the hand operations, sorry, not machining operations. So this can be done in the bench vise. This is another welding equipment that is there in the machine shop, because this is very robust welding equipment, so you have kept it in the machine shop. This is known as friction stir welding equipment. And these are some of the examples of the jobs that are being performed in the machine shop. This is also another equipment which is used for heating the device and joining. This is an universal milling machine. Normally when we say milling machine, it has been divided into two broad categories, like horizontal milling machine where you can do some horizontal operation, and vertical milling machine where you can do the operations from the top. And there is another machine called universal milling machine where you can have both types of job being done, whether this is vertical or horizontal. Different types of machining operations, obviously, starting from manufacturing a gear to other things. Okay, basically these are used for the making of gears, any type of gear, you say, the spar gear, the helical gear, the bevel gears, the rack and pinion. So everything can be made in this universal milling machine. This is also an example of the horizontal milling machine, as we have told earlier. The previous one was universal, and this is the horizontal milling machine. This is a planar machine. If you require to remove some extra material from some heavy objects which are larger in dimension, then you cannot place it in the shaper. Rather, we have to place it in the planar machine, which has got a very big cutting tool. And with that cutting tool, the workpiece will remain the cutting tool remains stationary and the workpiece moves. So this is an example of a planar machine. And these are all the lathes, the light duty lathes, which are basically used for this classroom activities. Normally when you are working on some project where you require to make some robust equipment, so parts of some robust equipment, we generally prefer for medium duty or heavy duty lathe, depending upon the type of operation that is being used, and depending upon the type of tools that will also be used in those operations. Otherwise, we generally use the light duty lathe for small type of works. Yeah, this is another machine. This is known as pillar drilling machine. This is radial drilling machine. As you can see that this is very robust equipment, and this is used for making drills of larger diameter in some blocks, in some cubes, metallic cubes. So we generally prefer for this radial drilling machine. So this is you can say a virtual tour of the central workshop. Hope that in the coming days, when everything will be fine and will be coming to the institute, so you will have a full-fledged class in the central workshop, and I hope that you will really enjoy it. Till then, you just take care of your health, and goodbye.